How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Esports Talk, and we have had so much crazy stuff going on in the past week and even before then, and today is no different. There's accusations coming out against the now former esports host and commentator Redeye for physical abuse, verbal abuse, and abuse of power, with claims coming out by James Banks, another esports commentator, and many other people who attested James' story. So let's see what they had to say. Banks' story starts when a few months ago he made a series of tweets talking about a certain someone in the scene who does wrong all the time. He threatens other people's careers, sabotages others for personal gain, and lies for public recognition. And Banks was actually scared to out this person because of just how much power they have in the esports scene. And this was, of course, referring to Redeye, which now months later, Banks came out with an entire document outlining the many things that Redeye has done and several other people's experiences with him. Years ago, around 2014 or 2015, Banks landed a contract with Gfinity to cast CSGO games. He was casting a grand final and he says his blood sugar was low for it, so the commentary wasn't the greatest, but Redeye took note of that and told Banks he wasn't good enough, so he'd be moving him, and told him to listen or he would never work in the industry again. Redeye would keep Banks out of meetings, ignore him, and didn't offer any support to him, causing Banks to, on multiple occasions, attempt suicide. And this was particularly difficult for Banks as someone who suffers from depression and as someone who looked up to Redeye before working with him. It must be a very tough spot to be in when the person that you used to look up to is now threatening your entire career and has the ability to destroy it like that. And Banks shares several other stories sent to him by people who worked with Redeye, many of them wanting to stay anonymous as they feared for their careers as well. Redeye apparently punched a Gfinity employee, that Gfinity employee actually speaking up and claiming that it was true, and there were countless times where Redeye had been verbally abusive, and again, there's plenty of claims that he was abusing his power to hold other talents back. And all of this circles us back to Redeye, who actually ended up making a statement of his own where he says that he knows he can be difficult to work with, but he denies many of the claims against him, starting off by saying, up to this point, he has not had a single issue with Banks, but he can't let false accusations go unanswered. Redeye says that he never told Banks that he had to listen to him or he wouldn't work in the industry again, but it is true that they decided Banks wasn't good enough and they wanted to go another way, so they brought him on as an interviewer. But Redeye says that he was very blunt with Banks and he never had the intention of harming his career. As for the physical abuse, Redeye says that this never happened, there were no punches thrown, he apologized to that person, and he shows a screenshot with another Gfinity employee who was not there when the altercation happened, but he says he never heard about Redeye assaulting anyone, to which Redeye says, yep, that's how I remember it too. It was just us squaring up to each other. Which, I don't know about you guys, and obviously I don't know if he did punch this person or not, but if I was at work and I didn't punch someone, but accusations were coming out against me saying that I did, I wouldn't say, yeah, that's how I remember it too. I would say, no, that's ridiculous. I never punched anyone, and if I did punch them, I definitely would remember it. I'm trying to stay partial here, but just kind of reading into his language and seeing the many other accusations against him, as well as one person in particular saying that they did get punched by Redeye, just makes it seem like we're not getting the full truth here. And following all this, just 2 days after Banks' initial statement came out, Redeye made an announcement that he was stepping away from esports, he resigned from Code Red, and these attacks that were made against him brought him very close to taking his own life. So it's a very serious topic here, and despite all the allegations, we don't know exactly how much truth there is on either side. However, Redeye leaving the scene either tells me that many of these accusations were true, or he really is leaving the scene just because of the picture that was painted of him. But when it comes to the idea of taking your own life, I just want to say that no one should use this as an opportunity to attack either party of the conflict. Despite what Redeye might have done, it's still a human life in question here. And if these claims are true, and if Redeye is really as bad as people make him out to be, then I hope he just learns from his mistakes and just continues on bettering himself moving forward, and I hope that his accusers can recover. As usual, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.